Hello ladies and gentlemen, Top Hat Gaming Man here, and today I am here to join you once again for another discussion point. Today we are going to be talking about one of my favourite GBA games, Mother 3. Now I really like this game. It is amongst one of my favourite JRPGs ever actually. There's not many games I can say bring you on an emotional roller coaster where you can feel more than fun, excitement and anger and hatred. It actually gives you other emotions too, like sadness for example. A game with sadness. Speaking of sadness, it's a term I actually hear quite a lot associated with Mother 3. Mainly from their fan base actually, who constantly insist on trying to get Nintendo to localise the game. Oh, boo-hoo! Nintendo haven't localised Mother 3 for the West. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo! I really wanna... Why do you have to be bloody corporate slaves to Nintendo, you bloody idiots? You know fully well there is a fully playable fan translation online of the game. So why do you need Nintendo to do it? Why? I don't understand. It's already there for you to play completely for free. The opportunity is there to play it. So why do you want to pay to play it? Why? I just don't get it. Why? You've got it for free. For free! Why? So yes, for myself, it isn't the fact that Mother 3 hasn't been released in the West that makes me sad. It's the fan base themselves who make me sad. Like, what a sorry excuse for a bunch of people. Like, all those online petitions to get a game released, which they can already play. I just don't understand it. Why does it have to be official? What difference does it make? If you can play it, you can play it. Like, okay, here we go. Here's an example. People want it released. It's not going to be released on the Game Boy Advance, is it? Because they stopped making games on that ages ago. So if it's emulation what people don't like, well, it's going to be emulated by Nintendo anyway if they do release it. If anything, it would come out of a Nintendo Switch, wouldn't it? So that would be definitely emulation. Although, what would be the point in that when you can already emulate it on the JXD for free? Look, they look like the same bloody thing. What would be the point in that? And if you're like me and like an experience tailored to the system it was intended for, then I, for example, played it on this reproduction translation card. So I actually played it on the Game Boy Advance, and when I felt really snazzy and wanted to play it inside my house, I actually put this in the bottom of the GameCube Game Boy player so I could actually play it on a CRTV television. So that was fun too. So I've played it on a television and played it on the Game Boy Advance, so I got to play it on official devices. You would not be able to get a proper experience on the Nintendo Switch, would you? That would be exactly the same as playing it on a bloody PC, for example, or a gaming tablet like a JXD. So yes, I fully understand why the whole Localize Mother 3 movement began, because that was back in 2006 when the game was modern and it was actually on the Game Boy Advance. So back then, a movement to get it on the Game Boy Advance for everyone to play would have been great, and obviously there wasn't an official fan translation back then, so the only way to have been playing it would have been if Nintendo released it. Like, what are you going to do, wait for Nintendo to make one? And they didn't, did they? So we had to have a fan translation instead. So if there is a fan translation in place, and we can all experience the game, then there is no need for the whole Localize Mother 3 fiasco anymore. Like, even Nintendo themselves are laughing at the stupidity of their fans with poking fun at them with E3 and when Robot Chicken was there. They made that whole sketch, didn't they, laughing at how ridiculous the fan base are wanting that game. Because at the end of the day, if they did end up releasing it anyway, who's going to play it? Everyone who actually likes the game have already made the effort to play the fan translation, haven't they? So they're not going to be buying the release, well, the emulation on the Switch, are they? So if all the diehards have already experienced the game, that means that those diehards, for some reason, must just want everyone else to play the bloody game. Like, why do you need everyone else to play the game just to validate your own experiences? Let's be honest, if they was to release Mother 3 on the Switch, hardly anyone new is going to play it. Everyone who wants to play the game have already played the game. The casuals, or core demographic, they're not interested in primitive JRPGs, are they? They're going to be wanting to play the Call of Duties, the Assassin's Creed, the FIFAs, the Maddens, the WWE 2K17, all games like that, aren't they? They're not going to want to play these old Game Boy Advanced JRPGs. Many young people, ridiculously, even look at the Game Boy Advance as retro now, so they're definitely not going to want to play it, are they? So yes, this insane level of fanboyism to me is quite frankly ludicrous, I suppose. Like, I don't understand why you are so insistent on being Nintendo's corporate slaves. Like, you really want them to release it just so you can pay them money to play it. Because that would be the only real difference, won't it, to be honest? The fan translation's there, and which is a very good translation, I must say. So if Nintendo was to translate it, they can either equal that translation and make the game just as good, or it could be a bad scenario and they really westernise the translation and they leave loads of bits out because, ooh, we're trying to make it more suitable for a Western audience. So you could get a completely botched version of the game anyway. So yes, you're just being complete, I don't know, corporate slave fanboys, I suppose. The same kind of people who are insistent on watching E3 and going, ooh, I've got to watch E3, I'm going to stay up all night and drink Red Bull and watch E3. I've got to know what games those companies really want me to spend all my money on. I must watch all the Bethesda videos so that I can pay £70 to buy their games on release. Or I must stay up all night and watch the EA conference so that I can buy their games on release, or Nintendo, or whoever, I don't care which company. But yes, that whole thing of E3 is just, it's basically just a giant promotional campaign, isn't it? So why, as consumers, should we be the ones getting excited? That's for the corporations to get excited about. They're the ones who are going to make a load of money. So why should we be excited about what corporations are going to do? That's not for us to be excited about. They're just selling us products. Yes, this slight transition into moaning about E3, I suppose, is inspired from a video I watched recently on Top Hats and Champagne's channel, which was, I think, was titled E3 Makes Me Re, and I suppose on that note, Mother 3 makes me re as well. It's both scenarios are the same thing. It's corporate fanboyism to the extreme. And speaking of that as well, I always see all these idiots on like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. They're going, oh, who won E3? Who won E3? I think Nintendo won E3. I think Sony won E3. I think Microsoft won E3. Yes, and then I hear other people who are really optimistic say, us, the gamers, we won E3. No. We certainly didn't win anything. All who won are the bloody corporations. They won, each and every one of them, because they made all of you bloody idiots sit through giant hour-long advertisements. Which is outrageous! It's like, imagine if I had, before one of my videos, an hour-long ad for you to watch. That would be absolutely amazing for me, obviously, but how does that benefit you? It doesn't, does it? So yes, I suppose the main thing what annoys me about Mother 3 is the whole, like I said, the hysteria around it, the fact that they really want to pay Nintendo for the product. It's like, if you're going to nag a corporate company, like if you really have to nag a corporate company for something, why not nag them to make something new instead? Like, start getting in their ear and nag them to release Mother 4. Wouldn't that just make so much more sense? Nag them to release a new product, because like I said, we can all experience Mother 3 already. We don't need to play it on a Nintendo platform to experience it, so nag them to make Mother 4. Like, something else that's really been annoying me about Nintendo recently, and it isn't just Nintendo, to be honest, Sony and Microsoft were doing it long before, well, they wasn't doing it before Nintendo, they've been doing it to the extreme lately. Like, when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 was released, the majority of the library was just bloody ports of games from the Xbox 360 and PS3. And they wasn't ports from a long time ago, they were games like what was released the year before. Like, for example, they released GTA 5 on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, then it felt like a year later they just re-released it on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And you know what? Complete freaking morons bought it again! Just because, I don't know, you could see a few more blades of grass and you could play it in first person. These small changes, which for some reason convince you idiots to buy exactly the same game all over again at full price, even though you could just buy the previous version for like a third of that price. That is just completely nonsensical to me. And in the same vein as well, I've seen people doing it again. Like, I know so many people who bought bloody Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, who already owned it on the Wii U. Like, why did you need to pay full whack for the same game twice. That's just completely, it's nonsensical and makes no sense. Like, what did they add? Battle mode and that was it? Like, I don't think it's worth paying all that money just to add battle mode into a game. And speaking of this as well, what's further annoyed me, the bloody Pokemon Direct. Like, how out of order was that? The entire Pokemon Direct, every game was a re-release. Like, it might as well have been a recycling campaign. Let's, I don't know, there is no planet B. There's only one planet Earth, so we're going to recycle everything. Because that's exactly what Nintendo did with all the Pokemon games. What did they announce? Bloody Pokken Tournament, again, exactly the same game, but on the Switch instead of the Wii U, with a few new characters added. And again, they would probably charge full whack for that. Another one, they're releasing Pokemon Sun and Moon again, just a slightly different versions of the game. Only 1 year after they released it before, which again, I shall not be purchasing. And the third one, they've released Pokemon Gold and Silver on the virtual console, which again is outrageous because you've been able to emulate those games for absolute years. On top of that as well, bloody Nintendo released enhanced versions of the games on the DS a few years ago. So why would you want the original version of the game on the 3DS when you could just buy the original version, or if you want an enhanced version on the DS anyway, you could go for that. You do not need so many versions of the same game, and it's certainly not worth doing some stupid direct video and doing all this hype about it if all you're going to announce is re-releases. I know this is tailed off a bit from moaning about Mother 3, but it's all the same line of thought. Again, there's no reason to nag Nintendo to release Mother 3, the same as we shouldn't be nagging them to release Pokemon again, Mario Kart again. All I want from these bloody corporations is them to release new games and not try and sell me the same games twice, because I refuse to do that. And because all of you bloody idiots are continuing to do that, you are encouraging these annoying corporations to keep selling the same products over and over again. So I'm getting frustrated going, "Ree!" here, aren't I? Because I'm seeing the same products being sold over and over again and I can't buy anything new because I've got morons buying the same games over and over again. You are basically hindering creativity, and I don't understand why you're doing it. So yes, in regards to Mother 3, it's not so much the fact that fans want it localized what really annoys me. It's just there's just so many more important things which you could be getting on corporations' backs over than not translating some archaic game from 2006. Like, come on, as I said, you've got so many things you could be nagging them for. Like, nag them for bloody Mother 4. Don't nag them for a game which was released ages ago and you can play anyway. Like I said, there's just so many more important things you could be worrying about than a game from 2006 what you can already experience. Anyway, as this is a subject which I am quite interested in, I actually asked my Twitter followers the question on what would benefit us if Nintendo did in fact release a translated version of Mother 3. So we are going to go over those points quickly. Some bullet points here. I don't see any reason what's wrong with me reading these points since they're off Twitter, they're not my own fault. So these are the points I've made. First point is the Western sales and profits might make Mother 4 a possibility. See, as I said, I completely disagree with that, because I think if Nintendo did release Mother 3, I think it would sell terribly. I honestly am fully with Nintendo on that one. The game won't sell in the West. Like, what incentive have people got to play it? Everyone who is a hardcore fan have already played the game loads, so there's no reason to buy it from Nintendo. And anyone who is part of the core demographic of gamers, they're not going to be interested in a game like Mother 3, are they? So I don't think it would really add to the possibility of a Mother 4. However, nagging Nintendo directly for a Mother 4 or starting a petition for them to make Mother 4 is, I think that's a more probable case. In fact, just try and get them to release Mother 4, and if Mother 4 sold well, then everyone might be more inclined to play Mother 3. Like, if they made some up-to-date game, Mother 3 was like really up-to-date and advanced, then new gamers are more likely to want to get into the series, aren't they? Then they would want to play Mother 3. So therefore, you are giving them a reason to want to try Mother 3 out. Another point I've got here is I think it's more about acknowledgement from Nintendo to know that we know you like this title. See, we're fully aware that Nintendo already know this, otherwise they would not have poked fun at us at E3 with the Seth Green Robot Chicken sketch, would they? So it's very, very clear that Nintendo can hear us loud and clear, isn't it? But they know, like myself, that there's no reason for the game to sell well. Next point I have here, well, Nintendo should do it, Because of the problems emulation causes with the battle system, time chaining attacks is wonky in emulation. Well, to be fair, this is the first point I actually agree with. There is a slight problem in the wonkiness with the emulation. However, I wouldn't say it was enough to... it doesn't really hinder the gameplay experience. Like, to be honest with you, I was not aware of this problem throughout my whole entire playthrough of Mother 3, and I completed the game. I just thought, I've got no rhythm. That's what I just assumed. I've got no rhythm playing the game. So therefore, yes, you can play the game fine without these rhythm attacks. To be honest, to be fair, if you did have the rhythm attacks in the game as well, and you could execute them properly, then it would make the game easier, I suppose. And I can't say I found any difficulty with the game anyway, despite not being able to perform these rhythm attacks. So whilst I agree that is a valid point, I don't think it's worth re-releasing the entire game for, because you can get through the game absolutely fine without needing that mechanic anyway. Another point actually, and I've not wrote this one down, so I'm going to have to try and remember it off the top of my head. I remember someone tweeting me something along the lines of, we need Nintendo to release an official translation because the fan translation is useless, because without it, Mother 3 is completely non-canon. Like, how is that relevant at all? Why does it... What do they mean it needs to be canon? Like, how does that make any difference? Like, isn't the Legend of Zelda timeline annoying enough because they've put this in a specific order so everything's canon? I was happy with it the way before. Like, why do they need to tamper with everything and make things canon, non-canon, canon, non-canon? As long as you enjoy the story, what difference does it make how it fits into the mythology? But as I said, if Nintendo did release their own version, in all likelihood it would not be as good as the fans' translation anyway, because they would tamper with it and make it more suitable for a Western audience. Like, I'm constantly hearing fans bitch and moan all the time about JRPGs and anime being rubbish in English, and they prefer to watch the Japanese version with subtitles because apparently the game's translations are butchered so badly. So why do you want that to happen to another one of your classics? Like, why are you asking for that? You moan about it all the time, so why are you asking for them to do that? Like, nothing pleases anyone. I don't understand. To finalise these points though, I suppose if Nintendo were to release Mother 3, I suppose the best way to do it would be to make like a Mario All-Stars style pack with the 3 Mother games on one, I don't even know what you call them, a bloody Nintendo Switch. They don't call them cartridges, do they? They call them SD cards. Maybe they do call them cartridges, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, whatever slots inside the Nintendo Switch. If they was to release all 3 games on one of those for the Switch, that'd be cool. But at the same time, for me, I would want souped up versions of the game. Like, I would want bloody Mario All-Star style treatment. Like, no way am I paying out for games I've already paid. I want to pay for new experiences. So if Nintendo are going to make them, give them full remakes. Like, imagine if they remade the 3 Mother games and made them look like Pokemon Sun and Moon, for example. That'd be absolutely delightful, wouldn't it? Like, that'd be so much better than just, oh, please release Mother 3, Nintendo. No. We need an experience far more bespoke than that to enjoy it in 2017. Well, not necessarily for me to enjoy it, for the world to enjoy. So, my final thoughts. Mother 3, it's an absolutely fantastic game. There is no question about that. But personally, I have no desire whatsoever for Nintendo to release it on their bloody virtual console. There's just no point, is there? That ship has long sailed. However, I must say, I do find you Mother 3 fans very, very annoying. Like, please, if you're going to put so much energy into something, try and get these corporate companies like Nintendo to do something constructive with their time. Get them to make new bloody games, new innovative games. Like, how many times do you want to pay for Super Mario Brothers? Like, it gets re-released on the virtual console over and over again, and people are still buying it. Like, seriously, I'm happy with my Super Mario Brothers cartridge and my bloody Mario All-Stars cartridge with a souped up version of it on. Don't need all these virtual console releases too, so don't add bloody Mother 3 to that list, please. Cheerio!